Now we're going to make the front fork for your sample bicycle. First thing you always check, am I working in the correct project pathway? Do you have bicycles checked? And over here, does yours say HIED bicycle? That's what you need to make sure. And we're going to start by making the part. It's a new standard part. And to get started, I'm going to put in a sketch. We're going to work on the front plane. I'm going to press the wheel of my mouse down and drag it down, and I'm going to go straight up. From here, I'm going to go straight up 6 inches. I have to zoom out and pull it down. I'm going to hit escape because now what we're going to do is we are going to put on a circle. I'm going to come to where I'm directly across from it. I'm going to click and I'm going to enter a circle that has a diameter of 6 inches. So the radius would actually be 4. Now the next thing that we're going to learn, command, is called tangent. When you have tangent, what that does is it takes an arc or a circle and it makes it touch some other figure at exactly one point. So I'm going to click the circle, then I click this, and did you see it move it over? Now I'm going to say OK, or I could hit escape to get off of the tangent constraint. I can take this circle now and I can drag it up or I can drag it down, but I can't move it left or right. So it stays right here. I want it in the perfect location, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say horizontal, the horizontal constraint. I'm going to add that between the midpoint of the center of the circle and the end point of this. Notice it turned blue. If I hit escape to get off of horizontal constraint, I can no longer move it up and down. I'm going to trim off, well, not yet. I'm going to draw one more line, and it's going to be on the opposite side. So I'm going to come here, and I've got to be horizontal to the center, and I'm going to go straight down. And again, it should be a vertical 6 inches. Excuse me. And I'm going to hit escape. Now I'm going to trim off the bottom of my circle. When I trim off that bottom, I'm going to zoom out, and the next thing I'm going to do is draw a line. Again, I want to be directly above there, and we're going to go up vertical 4.5 inches. That is going to be the frame for our fork that we're going to use. So we're going to start by learning one more new feature that's called sweep. In order to sweep, what we're getting similar to revolve, we're going to have to put a plane on the end point right here of this, very much like we did when we learned how to do a loft. So it's got to be perpendicular. So as before, we're going to start a sketch on this plane. I'm going to go back home so that I can see it plainly, and I'm going to project the geometry for this end point, so it's going to become the center of my circle. So I'm going to take that circle and I'm going to open that circle up, and the diameter of that circle is going to be 2 inches. And this time we're going to go ahead and take our circle, and since we won't be able to extrude a hole that's going to have a curve in it, we're going to go ahead and build it in. So I'm going to say I'm going to add another concentric circle to that sketch, and it's going to have share the same center point and have a 1.5 inch diameter. A little bit thicker frame than the sample frame to support that wheel and the weight of your body on there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to finish the sketch, and we're going to use the sweep feature. Sweep will take a profile, a closed profile like this. We're just going to pick out that portion, and it's going to sweep it along a path, and you tell it, oh, this is the path that I want it to sweep, and we're going to say OK. And you can see that we have actually made our U shape for the front of our fork, for the front fork, and now we're going to share the sketch that we used. We already drew this sketch, And so I'm going to turn the visibility on it so that I can actually use it again. That shares the sketch. Next thing I'm going to do is similar. I'm going to put a plane on the end here, and again, it needs to be perpendicular, and start a sketch on it. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go home so that I can see it. I'm going to put a circle on this. Now this is going to extend up into our bicycle frame that we already did. We want to leave a little small tolerance in there so that it will actually insert and fit. So we're going to make it have a diameter of 1.67, not 37, 67. I'm going to say enter. And we're going to use a little bit different extrude. We're going to extrude this, and we're going to extrude that surface, and notice it automatically went up. We're going to go the opposite direction. Now you can actually grab the arrow. Oh, did you notice when I grabbed that here that I can make it also shrink the opposite end? That's on the More tab where you can taper it. I don't want to use more. I want it to stay at a 0 angle. I'm going to click Shape over here. I want to go in the opposite direction. I could select that. You can also grab the arrow to make it go opposite. You can also do it right here to where you change directions. I want to go the opposite direction. Now what I want to do, instead of going a distance, I want to go to the next surface. And notice it's going to blend perfectly right here. So I'm going to say check. I'm not going to drill a hole through it the way we have in the past. What we're going to do, I'm going to start a sketch on the top, and we're going to put a rectangular shape in here. There's more than one way to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a square here that is a 0.75 by 0.75 square. Make sure that top is sitting correctly in here, and we're going to use our horizontal feature to align this properly. I want to take the center point of this and make it horizontal to, well, I haven't projected my geometry yet, so I have to hit escape. I need to project the geometry for this circle, and that way I've got this center point. Now I'm going to use horizontal, and I want the center point for this to be horizontal with the center of this. Did you see it move it slightly? I want it to also be vertical, so I'm going to square up this circle basically in the center of that circle. So I'm going to finish the sketch. What I'm doing is I'm going to make a rectangular box prism that's going to insert down inside here to attach to our handlebars, so that when we turn it will hold it steady. So now I'm going to extrude. I want to extrude. I have to choose the surface. That's the surface I want, and I want it to be a cut. How far do I want to cut that down? I want to cut it 3.5 inches down. So now I'm going to say OK. And basically you are almost finished, or all we're going to do right now, for your front fork. So I'm going to go File. I'm going to save that as, and I'm going to give it the name, you're going to call it front fork. So I'm going to say, I've already made this once. I'm going to say Norris front fork. I'm saving it in the bicycle folder. And you can double check, make sure it's in your H drive IED bicycle by clicking right there, and then say save. Yes. Now I want to clean it up, so this sketch that I shared or made visible, I right click and I turn off the visibility, and that cleans it up a lot. I'm going to, for now, leave this plane on here in case I want to use it again in a little while. I can take both of those planes off at some point, but I think at this point I'm going to leave them. So I can see I've got the correct name for it, and that will make your front fork.